looking at this debate in my office, I noticed that there was a tweet, and it was indeed a couple of minutes ago from your good self, saying that everybody who opposed this was reckless. Now, Minister, first of all, regarding recklessness, could I say it's reckless to have such a disregard for Parliament and the Dáil? Not for me, not for Deputy Donnelly or any of the deputies here, but for the people that we represent, because it's the essence of democracy. And if there was one thing Fianna Fáil, that party that you joined so late in the day, always had, that was a fairly healthy respect for parliamentary democracy. Minister, if you want to talk about recklessness, can I say it's reckless to run down a health service the way our health service was run down? Now, you didn't run it down, but there are 3 members of the cabinet in which you sit, which is collective responsibility, who ran it down. Micheál Martin was Minister for Health, came up with the HSE as a way to spend money really on reports. Leo Varadkar couldn't get out of there fast enough, and Simon Harris, well, caused the general election. He was, we thought, the most inept Minister for Health ever. Or at least we were told by some Fianna Fáil canvassers that he was before the last election. So that was reckless, to run down a health service the way they did. It was reckless to fail to do anything about it when getting into office, which is what you have done, Minister, because where is the additional capacity that you spoke about, that you asked about when you were in the COVID committee? Because it's simply not there. There was cholera hospitals built in this city in response to a cholera outfit. There were TB sanatoria built all over the state in response to that. And we have 23 billion. What was the 23 billion spent on, apart from masks that are now clogging up our sewage systems? Junk that was brought in from China. What was the 23 billion spent on? Because we have nothing to show for it. And such a wanton waste of exchequer funding is simply reckless, Minister, if you want to talk about recklessness. What's reckless is to deny children the ability to play sport during a pandemic when they're locked up in their homes, to tell them it is safe for them to sit in a classroom for 6 hours a day, but it is not safe for them to play sport. That, Minister, is reckless because of the effect it has on their formation, and in particular on their mental health, in the case of some children whose parents have come to me to complain about what is going on. It is reckless to fail to look at schools and school ventilation, to spend 23 billion without remedying this. Now, last winter, yeah, it's understandable. It was all new. But we're heading into our second winter with nothing done. That, Minister, is reckless. But above all, it is reckless to fail to look at the signs, to pretend we're following the signs, but instead lurching from hysterical reaction to hysterical reaction. Let's look at the vaccines. Let's look at their efficiency. Let's look at their efficacy, because there are studies about this. Vaccines have stopped people getting seriously ill, of course they have, but we now know of waning immunity, and we know that the difference between how infectious somebody is whether they're vaccinated or not varies relatively little. We know that there's an enduring immunity from recovery, and we have question marks still about masks and how small are the particles in which it's spread. Are they so small that masks don't capture them? Minister, if you want to talk about recklessness, let's talk about it, but have an honest reflection upon your role and how reckless you have been.